Hey, what's up guys? Travis Fulton here and welcome to Online Gainz. Each week, I'm gonna be sharing with you real insight on how I'm developing players all across the world on full swing, short game, and putting. Be sure to tune in. All right, Steve. Hey, Travis here. Thanks for the videos. Excited to help you here with your golf game, starting with your golf swing. A lot of good stuff here as you've have been through your journey with the golf swing and have helped you lower your handicap. And now as we try to take things to the next level, I think the driver swing here is going to be a good template to help us do that. When you, in this particular video that you sent me, you're kind of, looks like you might be already into your backswing a little bit, but you've got the ball position forward, which you can see. Feet pretty wide. I think careful there with the feet and getting them too much wider than that. Your grip looks very good. So a lot of good things there at address. Now, when you look at your backswing and you look at how you turn to the top of the swing, and we'll see this from the other view as well, your hips are pretty level. The way that your right hip is turned, your right hip's kind of turned more around and say towards your left heel, where your hips are riding pretty level here. I'm gonna show you from the other view, and certainly the game plan on how to get the right side to climb a little bit, get the right side of the pelvis to be a little bit higher than the left, and that'll have a positive effect on your shoulders as well. I think that your shoulders are turning fairly flat. Shoulders are pretty level as well. And when you do that, you don't get the full length of your backswing. You can see your driver swing is very 3/4-ish, and I think as good a shape as you're in and as mobile as you are, we can get that golf club to probably be fairly close to parallel to the top. So I think there's a definite opportunity there with the inclination of how your hips and shoulders are turning. Now, given that, you do a really good job coming through here. Like, there's a lot of good stuff there. You shift your weight, you're rotating, you can see you got air into your right heel. I think at this point we want to see this left leg starting to push up a little bit, get some of that flexion out of the knee. And I think that's where probably your feet being a little too wide may restrict that a little bit. So I think getting the feet a little closer together and letting this left leg push up and get you to this full finish position, there's certainly some power in that as well. But again, a lot of good stuff here. I think you've learned to hit the golf ball with some forward shaft lean. Your arms and hands are doing well. And so I'm excited to work with that. But when I look at this swing, I think that the biggest opportunity here as a starting point is going to be to tighten up this turn and get the inclination of the pelvis and the shoulders to be more on an angle. And I'm going to show you how to do that, and we'll see this a little bit clearer from the other view. Let's go to that. Let's go to the target line view next. All right, so we look at this view here. I'm definitely going to get you a little bit closer to the ball. I think you're reaching forward a bit. The handle, the overall angle of the shaft, you can see is pretty upright. I'm probably going to encourage you to lower that just a bit and get closer to the ball. And I think if we can do that with the feet a little closer together, I think that will set the stage for what we're going to be looking to do right here. And right here is where we're going to get this right side to be a little higher. We're going to get this right shoulder to feel a little higher than the left. We're just going to get this overall inclination, right side higher than the left. And I'm going to really show you how to kind of get your body to spiral more up in the backswing. And when we do that, I think you're gonna really feel stronger with your turn. You're gonna feel more energy kind of in the glute. You're gonna feel the swing lengthen out a little bit. And I think it'd be tough to do. I think it'd be tough to do with you this far from it. You know, with you this far from it and with your feet so wide. So as we clean up that setup, I'm going to show you some really good drills on how to spiral and use the pivot properly up to the top of the swing. You're going to feel different, but I'm going to go ahead and say that you're probably going to be easily 10 to 15 more yards. Not only distance, not only the speed increases, but I just think the overall efficiency back down to the ball starts to increase as well. But in saying that, again, you have a lot of good things coming down here. So I think as we improve this backswing, I think it's going to speed things up, more power. And I think it's just going to kind of elevate the ceiling here of what your potential is by getting this backswing to be absolutely spot on. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to show you the setup adjustments. I'm going to show you this spiraling, a couple really good drills there. And then I think as you get comfortable with that, then we see where that takes us. But I am comfortable on the other side as you start to kind of get that left leg to push up. I would say that left leg is a little secondary to what I'm going to show you here in the backswing. I'm excited about this. I'm going to shoot you a video today, and we're going to get you started. All right, so here is the game plan. First thing, don't get so wide with the feet. I'd be a little more conservative with the feet here, and I would definitely feel like that you get just a little closer to it and the handle lowers down just a bit. What I would do as a checkpoint is I would get in there where you feel like the handle's a little lower, butt of the club pointing just above the belt buckle, feet a little closer, and then I just kind of let your right hand off the grip, let it hang there comfortably, and it should return about where it started. If you're reaching and you're up here, it's gonna kind of fall in here, okay? So find that natural hanging of the right arm. That's where it's gonna plug in, and I think you'll feel like the hands are closer, they're lower, and the feet are not so wide as well. So I think some little things are to address that I think add up and are gonna help you out. Now from there, we need to get the right side of the pelvis to turn and work up higher. Okay, right now I think your hips are turning a little too level and your shoulders are turning even more level than that. And it's really kind of shortening up the length of the swing. So what I want you to feel is that the right side of the pelvis kind of draws a little more up. You should feel like this right side is higher than the left. If you look at that from face on, you can see how my spine wants to kind of feel more this way. My left shoulder wants to feel lower when this is working up versus say working around level. Okay, you can see how my left shoulder kind of stays up high versus down. Okay, right side of the pelvis turning and working up and back. Okay, left knee kind of travels more across and down. Okay, now when you do that, you'll feel your shoulders even more on that inclination. Left shoulder is going to feel much lower, okay, than the right. The difference that transfers up to the spine is what we call the difference between spine extension and spine flexion, okay? I'm going to explain. Spine flexion is this way. Spine extension would be this way. Okay, now at address, we do want to flex forward. We do want to flex forward, but then when we turn, we want the spine to start working in a little more extension. Okay, so you can see my spine extending back as I turn. And of course, when I extend back, it's going to feel like it's extending a little bit to the left towards the target. if I stay in flexion down and I turn, then I tend to kind of drift over this way. And that's what I see a little bit in your swing, is your shoulders stay level, your spine wants to hang out down in flexion, and that's when we kind of get into this look here, okay? So I'm a big fan for you of feeling the pelvis, the right side of the pelvis drawing up and back, right side higher. I'm a big fan for you of turning and letting the spine extend a little to the left. Okay, you'll feel that little dish in the lower back. Those two things will give you the feeling like you're spiraling up, like this elongation working up. I always use the analogy of this, you know, kind of pulling this lawnmower cord. It's my favorite drill, where I just pull this cord up and through my shoulder behind me. I'm not pulling the cord over here, where it's pulling my spine over here like this, staying down in flexion to the right. I'm pulling it up and back behind me. And when I do that, my spine has to extend and turn, right? So I stay very centered, and it really feels like I can lengthen out this cord. I can pull this rubber band back that way. I love that for you. When you do it with the club in your hand, you're gonna feel like your hands are gonna really work a little bit higher and kind of back up behind you a little bit, rather than your hands maybe stopping 3/4 over here. Okay, so that is the meat and potatoes of the game plan, starting with the setup that I think helps, going to the lower body and how that right side is working. You'll feel it in your glute more. I think as you transfer that up to the spine, I think the sticker shock kind of comes in the spine and it extending a little bit as you turn, because that's gonna now the club to lengthen out a little bit. And it's gonna allow your hands and the club to get to a little more parallel versus over here like this. I love this plan for you. I think in many ways, this move opens the door. It elevates the ceiling for a higher level of play for you, because you're gonna get more speed. And I also think in many ways, it's where accuracy kind of comes in as well on the downswing and allowing these things to line up. With that said, you have a lot of good things happening with the club coming down. So I think you're gonna really benefit for this next phase of your backswing.